It's very common for a function to return some data. When the function is called like this, we save the returned data in a new variable. Not all functions do this. Like, for example, we are calling the print function here and it doesn't return any data. It just performs a task. Here's a built-in Python function named int. It converts a decimal number to an integer. So my number, 5.001, and this code right here converts it to an integer and it saves back in my number. A really common mistake is to forget that this is returning a value, sending a value back, and not saving it in a variable. What happens is we are sending my number, 5.001, into the integer function. It gives us back the number 5, but we forgot to save it, so that number 5 just gets thrown away. So when we say print right here, it still prints the original value. My number never changed. Here's how to correctly convert from a decimal number to an integer. Don't forget to save the return value in a variable, like this. What are arguments? Information can be passed into functions as an argument. Arguments are specified after the function name inside of parentheses, like this. In the example below, the first function call passes the argument Steve, and the second function call passes the argument Fatima. All we're saying is that when it runs this time, we want it to say bonjour to Steve, and when it runs this time, we want it to say bonjour to Fatima. You can call a function that requires 2 arguments or more by separating them with commas. So make student email Ariana Grande. Here's another function call with 2 arguments, make student email Justin Bieber. How do you define a function like this? Well, a lot like the previous example, you use the def keyword, you name your function, you put parentheses, and then a variable name for the first argument, comma, a variable name for the second argument. Close the parentheses and colon. All of the code inside of the function is indented. And now when someone sends the name Ariana, it gets stored in first name. When someone sends the name Grande, it gets stored in last name, and then it's just part of your code. You can use those. It is possible that a function might not require any arguments. Here's what that would look like. It's a pretty simple function definition. You don't need to put anything inside the parentheses. And to call a function that doesn't require any arguments, that's also pretty simple. It looks like this.